to be with you today once again, because today we are in a segment around education and Black women in leadership. This segment is going to be incredibly important and insightful. So, we want you, whether you're a parent, an educator, a youth development worker, a faith based leader, or politician, we want to make sure, or if you're just a part of the community, that you are educated around the matters that are happening in the area of public school education. And today we have Domonique Cooper with us, who's actually a candidate for school board in Gwinnett County. Domonique, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we're excited to have you. We're going to talk about some important matters that I know are very important to your heart as a mom, as a leader in Gwinnett County, and also as a candidate. So I want to formally read your bio, but before I jump into that, I want to ask everyone that's watching this live to share it out. Whether you are sharing it to a friend, a colleague, or or within your network, we want to amplify this message. So sharing is caring. Share it out. Comment below. We want to engage with you. So if there's a comment that you have or something that sticks with you that you want us to hear, please comment and engage. And then lastly, we do want you to follow us on all social media platforms at iRaise.org. That's on Instagram, Facebook, um, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And also be sure to visit our website at www.iraceinc.org for all updates about new programming and things we're bringing to the community. And lastly, don't forget to follow me on all social media platforms at Shaniqua E. Moore. All right, let's get started. Domonique, I'm so happy to have you, girl. Finally. We've been like back and forth. I'm like, we got to get her on. So I'm glad you're on. I'm going to read your bio for those that don't know you, and then we'll jump into some questions.
Perfect.
All right. Currently, Miss Cooper, or should I say Mrs. Cooper?
Yes, you can. Yep.
Mrs. Cooper holds several positions as engagement chair for National MS Society, Georgia chapter, and Atlanta CASA secretary, board member of the safety nonprofit, and school council member at Gwinnett County Public Schools. Ms. Cooper is the author of the Champion Father Workbook and Witty Words of Wisdom for Moms. Love that. Mrs. Cooper is also the author of What If I Am and the Four Stages in Life for Teens. Mrs. Cooper graduated from the College of Notre Dame of Maryland with a Bachelor's of Arts degree majoring in criminology and social deviance with a minor in forensic psychology and a master's in human services with a specialization in social and community services. Mrs. Cooper is currently a student at Harvard Graduate School of Education, set to graduate. I guess you've already graduated, Mrs.
Yes.
Cooper. Okay,
Yes. Yep.
congratulations. You go, girl.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A Zeta Babe Beta sorority. Um, Mrs. Cooper also graduated from United Way's VIP cohort program and Glance Gwinnett, a program of leadership Gwinnett in spring 2021, and also graduated from the inaugural Atlanta Neurological Institute Foundation and MS Leadership class of 2023. Mrs. Cooper is a community connector recognized through her work connecting people and organizations nationwide. Mrs. Cooper has done extensive work with homeless women, moms, and students of various backgrounds and domestic violence victims. And she is an educational strategist for two school districts and a case manager for a local nonprofit. I'm talking about you're doing it, Mrs. Cooper. Like, this is incredible. So tell me all the accomplishments, all the things that you've been doing. What is your story and what is your why that has spun you into this work?
Thank you so much. I appreciate the introduction. And so, one thing I think is really, really important to note is, as you mentioned, I'm a mom. That is one of the most important things to me ever. Being a mom, I have 5 sons. My youngest is age 9. My oldest is age 19, all boys. They are what literally fuel my fire every single day. And no pun intended, as we are on the fireside chat, but they literally fuel my fire every day. They give me a purpose, a reason,
Wow.
and they give me what's needed to go out and make a difference in my community and in the world we live in. So
Wow.
for the boys, I look at it each and every day to say, we're here for just a short time, all of us. It is so important that we make a difference each and every day. And so I have no days to waste. And, my story goes back to Baltimore. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, moved to Gwinnett County in 2011, and literally have basically been a community servant, a public servant ever since I've been a little girl. I've been
Mhm.
on boards since I was a little girl, everything from student government, Black Affairs
Yeah,
Advisory Councils, you name it. I was one of those uber active students in school, and it just really translated into my college years, and then when I became a young adult, also in my career, and then now in my community. It's what I do each and every day. Serving community and being a connector is something that's really just like breathing and just like talking. It's just what I do. It's very natural.
that's incredible. And really, what it sounds to me, Dominique, is like you really have a servant's heart when you talked about being a child and very early on and just always wanting to serve. That reminds me of a person with a servant heart.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I was the little girl. My grandparents grew up in Baltimore. If you Google it, it's a street called North Pulaski Street in Baltimore
Oh.
City.
Mhm.
And they lived at 2121 North Pulaski Street. And I would go out with my great grandmother, and I affectionately called her mama. And I would literally get grocery bags and pick up trash with my hand on the street
Oh,
and throw it away. So, as a little girl, and my family would say, "You don't do that. That's dirty." But
yeah.
even as a little girl, I didn't find anything the matter with that. And I'll tell you, years later, I'm 38 now, here in Gwinnett County. If I'm going through the grocery store and something has fallen off you know, the ledge, I'm gonna pick it up and put it back. It's just what I need to do and what I have to do. So serving is certainly something that's important to me in all capacities.
Yeah, and it's natural, like you said, it's like breathing for you.
Yes,
And I love meeting people that have that heart because you know your intentions are all about people.
yes.
Not it's selflessness, right? So tell us more. You're a candidate right now for public school. Just give us what's going on with you currently, and like what inspired you to run for public school. I don't know exactly the position, but what was your inspiration behind it?
Absolutely. So it was last year in May of 2023, that I made the decision to run for the nonpartisan election for Gwinnett County Public Schools. Specifically, I'm a candidate for Gwinnett County Public Schools District 3 Board of Education. There are 5 districts within Gwinnett County. District 3 is an area that runs from Norcross, kind of up through Peachtree Corners, parts of Duluth, Lawrenceville, Swanee, and Sugar Hill. And I made that decision to just take my leadership and my service for our schools, our students, and our staff just to a whole different level.
Mhm.
So I've been on the campaign trail since last year. It's very busy, very, very busy. You couple that with motherhood, and I don't know how many hours in the day are left, but it's been a very rewarding journey that I must admit. I have learned so much more about the community that I didn't know. I've learned so much more about myself as a woman, as a leader, as someone that, I thought I knew a lot, but the more that I've pulled back the layers of our community, I'm coming up with so many more things, and I'm honored to be a candidate in this election. Literally, as a little girl, as much as I served before, I got to tell you, being on a ballot is something that I never saw happening. And
Wow,
so, for that, for all the women in my family, I come from a very strong lineage of women. I'm very proud to be here today, and I give them all the credit behind this.
that's beautiful. It really is. And you know, everything you said, and also just your why behind it. It's wanting to serve, it's seeing a need for what's lacking in your community and being the one to say, I'm willing to throw myself in the race, which we know is not easy. And then you said last May, we're coming up on a year of campaign trail. That's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
tell me, you talked about learning some things. What are some things that you feel like you have learned and your journey on the campaign trail so far?
Um, so many things. Thank you for that question. The first thing that comes to mind is that um, we all must be a few things, and we've got to be strong in what I call 3 different categories to be someone on a campaign trail. So the first thing is that I've learned that you must be strong emotionally.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I say that the world is hard. The world can get really, really tough. So
Yeah.
many days I feel like I walk around with an emotional helmet on, right? So
Yeah.
many things come your way on the campaign trail.
Mhm.
And sometimes people are really, really nice. And then sometimes people aren't very nice at all. So
Mhm.
I've learned to be tough emotionally. The second thing is I've learned that health is of vital importance, right? So there's not much that I can do to serve my community if I'm not healthy
Mhm.
physically. So I've learned to make sure that I'm drinking my water, I'm eating my fruits, I'm walking when I can,
Yeah.
and I am just taking care of who Dominique is on the inside because I mean nothing to my family, my boys, or my community at large if I'm not healthy physically. I've also learned that spirituality is something that's very much a need. And
Yeah.
so making sure that I am sound when it comes to my physical needs, my emotional needs, but also my spiritual needs as well. And I
Yeah.
think that's what has been a guiding force on the campaign trail and what has really kept me very level headed and positive along the way.
That's awesome. So what I love is you talked about like the whole person. Um, and you're learning a lot about you essentially as a woman. And that is what leadership is all about. And so hearing that response, it gives me so much confidence and what you're doing even the more. Is you talked about a mental helmet, what or a was that what is it, emotional helmet? I
Yep,
can't
yep.
remember. Emotional helmet, right? Yeah, for sure. I feel like you're constantly, especially as a Black woman, it's that balance between I can't show too much emotion because I don't want to be portrayed as angry Black woman, but I also got to carry myself the right way, but I also am dealing with all these things. Tell me, what is that plight like in your own words?
Um, do you like roller coasters?
I
Do you like?
hate they hurt
You
my back.
okay. There you go. So you hate roller coasters because they hurt your back, right? So when we get on roller coasters, we've got our hands up sometimes, right? If you're my 9-year-old, you've got your hands up. If you're me, you're clenching on and you're holding on for dear life to whatever you can hold on to. And so that plight has been like a roller coaster. So
Mm,
you like it, you don't like it. Some people love it, some people can't stand it. It
mm,
has been so many different ebbs and flows.
yeah,
It's up days, it's down days, it's all those different things.
right.
It is indeed an amusement park ride. And it's fun, it's scary, it's rewarding, it's all of those different things. But
Yeah.
each and every time that I get off of the roller coaster, if you can just follow me with this, every day that I go to lay my head down at night, I think, oh my gosh, I've done it again. I've conquered it. I've done it. And so from being a young woman that's Black, minority, come from a single parent household, raised in Baltimore, Maryland, every day I get off and say, girl, you did it. You championed the day again. And
Yeah.
so for that, I constantly pat myself on the back. And we've got to do that, right? Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. And
Mhm.
this journey has showed me that that roller coaster, that at moments that I'm scared, like you talk about, and my back is hurting, figuratively and literally speaking, I've got to
Mhm.
get up and I've got to do it again.
Yeah.
And so it's very thrilling. But at the end of the day, after every night, I'm just rewarded at the personal achievement. And I think that's something that we don't sometimes bask in enough.
That is incredible. Celebrating the wins in your life and being able to pat yourself on the back because oftentimes we just keep going and we don't realize the amount of achievements we've had thus far. But I love that strategy. So to all of the incredible people out there that's doing it, stop for a moment and celebrate yourself and pat yourself on the back like Dominique said.
Yep.
Love it. Dominique, you have several books, and I wasn't aware that you were an author, but to hear that, I'm very intrigued by the books that you've written, particularly witty words of wisdom for moms. And I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about what that book is, and maybe even some words of inspiration from that book that you can share.
Yes, absolutely. So, Witty Words of Wisdom for Moms is a book that I wrote, and I wrote it because I realized that motherhood can get tough, right? But it deserves what I call just a little witty with it. So just a dose of witty, just a dose of smile, just a dose of, positivity along the way. Motherhood, as we kind of talked off camera about earlier today, is one of those things that for all of us, it never ever cuts off. And
No.
I recognize none of us have a rule book to it. We don't have anything that says, this is right, this is wrong, or you
Mhm.
should do it like one way or another. And so I wrote the book because I wanted to give women, in particular mothers all over the world, an opportunity to see that they too are special, that they can actually go through things as a mother and still realize that they're super awesome no matter what happens. And so for the book, I literally go into my life as a mother. I talk about being a mother to my biological sons. I talk about being a mother to my bonus kids because we're a blended family. And so I recognize that literally being a blended family is not something that I ever was prepared for. So I
Mhm.
wasn't prepared for being a mother and a teen mom. I'm a two-time teen mom. Had my
Wow.
first son at 18, my second son at 19 years old. But
Wow.
literally, I've learned so much about being a mom over the years, especially being a mom to kids that I did not actually give birth to. And inside the book, I go chapter by chapter. They're really short chapters, but I allow myself to be completely authentic. And I think that's something that has resonated from what I hear from other moms. They've said, oh my gosh, you talked about things that no one else would talk about. So I talk about having that prayer closet that I've just got to kind of get away from, and I
Yeah.
got to go run into the closet and drop to my knees and just pray and have a moment,
Yes.
right? I talked about the moments of when, as a mother, we make mistakes and you've got to go back to your own child or your children and apologize. And you've got to show that, hey, just because you're mom, sometimes we don't do things right. So inside the book, I give moms an opportunity to show that motherhood is not perfect and you're great in your imperfections. I use all sorts of different quotes throughout the book as a level of wit to be able to show them that, I too have been through some of the many things that they've gone through. I talk about divorce. I talk about blended families. I talk about not having enough money to send your kid on a field trip. I talk
Mhm.
about, just all the things about motherhood, about mothering kids with disabilities.
Yeah.
And so all those things came up inside the book. I was completely, again, my authentic self inside the book. And the book is available both for moms to read, for moms to listen to, Kindle versions, all sorts of different things. So I try to meet people where they are on their motherhood journey. So it's a lot of spirituality. It's a lot of giving yourself permission to say no. I recognize as a mom, sometimes we all just want to say yes, and knowing that you're not the bad person when you've got to say, no, I'm not going to take you to the mall.
Mhm.
Why? Because I don't have to. I'm tired. And just giving yourself permission to just be normal. So, yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a book that we need to get into the hands of moms immediately because it's a struggle out here. Okay, it is really a struggle. I think especially when your kids are going through different developmental levels and you've never parented a child. You have 5 sons, so I consider that wealth. Women that have, whether you've birthed them or your bonus children, it is wealth to have 5 sons. um what an incredible, just assignment that you have before you. But I think also, and how do you navigate through the stages of parenting, because there are stages, and not only are your children going through stages, but you're going through stages yourself as an adult, right? You're going through these transitions, you're going through stages, and your kids are too. So how do you navigate through that? And I think that's where a lot of parents get stuck. And so I love the fact that you have this book that's helping parents and particularly moms navigate through the stages of life. That actually puts me to your next book, The Four Stages in Life for Teens. Tell me a little bit about that book as well.
Yeah, so that book is a book that I co-authored with my husband. And what we did is we went around and we actually spoke to a number of different teens all around the world, and we asked them different questions. Particularly, what we were looking for is teens that had been through different levels of adversity in their life
Yeah.
and they had shown a level of resilience. The
Mhm.
kids inside the book talk about everything from losing a loved one, losing a parent, being sexually abused, being a part of a gang, being a part of, being a juvenile delinquent, and the kids talked about how they have overcome those different challenges. And it was very important for us to do that because we recognize that the media does a great job at portraying what the negative things look like for our teens in
Right.
society. But we wanted to give teens an opportunity to see, yes, this very well may be true, but what does this look like on the other side? What does it look like to just push forward and to just keep going in spite of?
Mhm.
And the teens did that. So it's both of us interviewing teens. We talk about how people have gotten over thoughts of suicide. We
Mm,
talked about how teens have, been a part of different peer pressure. So
mm,
the book is primarily for that high school age. I would probably say your ninth graders all the way up to a college student. That would be the population that should probably read the book. But it is very, very inspirational. It's very enlightening. And it talks about real life, current day, 21st century things that our teens deal with and how
mm,
to overcome. So it's really teens talking to other teens. It's in their words, and we did it just to give them an outlet, and we did it to also show that um, sometimes we all make mistakes, but
mhm.
there's another side to it, and to show them that they can give themselves a level of grace as well was very, very important.
Love that. Love that. And what really really warms my heart about this book is that you co-authored it with your husband. What was
Yes.
that like? I'm just curious. What was it like doing that?
I gotta be honest. I'm gonna say it. It was good, and it has some areas of opportunity. I say that because my husband and I both are leaders at the core, and we
Mm.
have both very big personalities. So to come together to do a project together gets a little interesting because I think I know everything. He thinks he knows everything. And then we've got to live together, right? So he's got grand
You take
ideas.
over. Now we gotta
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Where
And
you go?
so hubby, excuse me, hubby is from Brooklyn, New York. So he's
Uh-oh.
this big New York
You're looking
personality. I'm this Baltimore girl, and um, it was great. So at the
at
core, it was a power struggle many times because
yeah.
I wanted to do what I wanted, and he wanted to do what he wanted. And
Yeah.
we both are great in our own right. So to bring two big personalities together gets a little interesting at times, but we were successful and we got it done. So that's the honest answer for you.
I love the honest answer. You helped so many people just now, Dominique. And what I will say is, I love the fact that you talked about two strong personalities. There is such a myth out there that strong Black women can't be with a strong Black man, and it's so not true. Like you guys are doing it. Look at that, and you even co-authored a book together. Oh, that's incredible. Thanks for sharing that. So I'm wondering, just in our last few moments together, we talked about momhood, parenting, even a little bit about marriage, your candidacy, growing up. So I'm just sort of bringing it back. The running for school board, I can imagine that there are so many issues that you are seeing facing our kids today. Can you give us a little more insight into what that looks like in the Gwinnett County
Absolutely.
School District?
Absolutely. So I think when we think about our kids in today's society, the thing that I think strikes is number one, social media. Social media is a plague everywhere. So not just Gwinnett County, but across the board. The thing that I think will help and be a solution to our students, in particular in Gwinnett County, is a community effort to be able to support our youth and our teens. So when I think about community, I think about faith-based organizations. I think about sororities and fraternities,
Yeah.
community leaders, servant leaders. I think about people in nonprofit sectors, for
Mhm.
profit sectors, you name it. If we go back to the old adage that it takes a village to raise a child,
Yeah.
as a candidate for school board, that's my approach. That's my whole campaign model, that I have a community centered campaign because I think it takes all of us together in order to fix some of the things that are wrong and
Mhm.
to continue to support some of the things that are going well. So
Mhm.
our kids, whether they're 5 years old or whether they're 15 years old, they need the community, and we need that to come back. So as a community connector and as someone who values community in every sense of the word, I think that's exactly the missing link in our school systems. And I
Yeah.
think that's what will make the difference in our students and us, moving forward. So we look at violence in schools, we look at kids coming
Mm,
how can we get ahead of that train, or how can we support them? They need community support. It's not just their mom, it's not just their dad, it's not just the
mhm.
teachers. We all serve a great purpose, and we all are vitally important. There's not one stakeholder in the process that's more important than the next. It takes a collective effort to make this work.
Dominique, that really hits home for me in so many ways. I love what you said because that village, what is it, proverb that we say so much, it sounds cliche, but it really is the answer. There's no way for our kids to get support through one venue. We need a village. And I love the fact that you're taking all of your experience, your momhood, being author, growing up, knowing what it's like directly, and your community connector skills, your educational strategist skills, and you're bringing that into this position. Tell me, what do you envision? Or what do you see? Do you see like the school board, Gwinnett County School Board, changing? Say, for example, if you were to win the election, what would that look like for our kids, and what would that community sort of look like?
Absolutely, great question. So, for the community to start off with the school board, what I envision is a collective group of adults that can come together, that can positively work together. We don't always have to agree with one another, but
Yeah.
if we can show a level of cohesion to show that we're all on the same page and we're not moving in different directions. For us to go back to the basics and remember what's important, what is at the epicenter of all of this. And for our school board here in Gwinnett County, it's literally education, excellence, and those two things together are what we need to continue to strive towards to make our county go in the direction that it needs to continue to go in. I envision all of the school board members coming together and being able to work like adults. If we know the saying, we got to be able to play well inside the sandbox with each other.
Right.
That's very, very important to me. I
Mhm.
think that we are a world class school system that
Mhm.
already has great things in place. We have a great foundation here in Gwinnett County. I
Mhm.
think we've just got to continue to work toward what does that look like as our school system changes. Don't work against each other, but instead work together to support one another. When it comes to our kids, I envision our children, no matter whether they're Black, white, Indian, Asian, Hispanic, no matter what background they come from, what other ethnicity they're from, socioeconomic group that they represent. I want them to see that they have adults that are supporting them. I want it to look like a figurative chain, so to speak, where we're all joined at the hands and we're surrounding our kids, all 183,000 kids in our community, to be able to let them know no matter what they are, what they have, what they stand for, no matter whether they are autistic, whether they have an IEP, a 504 plan, that we have adults in place and that are ready to support them and ready to meet them exactly where they are.
I love that. Absolutely, Dominique. A community of support, adults that can work together
Yeah,
for the sake of our children so that we can show up for them and meet them where they are. Absolutely incredible. Now, if people want to volunteer or connect with you, how could they reach out to you?
absolutely. Thank you for asking that. My website is just www.vote4dominique.org. Again, that's www.vote4dominique.org. I'm available on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, under vote number 4 Dominique. And I would love any support. I would love to hear from community. If I can support anyone that's listening in today in any capacity, I'm certainly open to doing so.
That's incredible, Dominic. We really appreciate you. I know what it's like to be a candidate for city council, and it is not easy, to put yourself in that, and to say, "I'm willing to pick this torch up because I love to serve," and we don't see enough people like you that are mothers and know what it's like and that have the heart of a servant. So I wish you nothing but blessings and the best in your journey, and I would love to, at some point, support you out on the trail as well, so maybe we can connect off of this, talk a little more about that. But for all my Gwinnett County parents, please look up Dominique Cooper. You have an incredible mom, a fierce advocate that wants to fight for you and your children. So look out for her. And to those that are not in Gwinnett County, you can still support in any way possible, and you can still reach out to her, learn more about the work that she's doing. We are coming to a close, but Dominique, thank you again for being with me, for finally allowing us to connect on this level. Hopefully, this is not the last time. I'd love to bring you back, pick your brain a little more about the educational issues affecting our kids in Metro Atlanta. But again, thank you so much. Continue the great fight. All the love to your family, your 5 incredible boys, and your husband. Also, guys, remember those books that are available. Are they available on Amazon, Dominique?
Yes. So, What If I Am the Four Stages in Life for Teens is available on Amazon. And I'm sorry, and Witty Words of Wisdom for Moms is available on Amazon as well as Walmart.com.
Incredible. Please look, just type her name in. You should see it pop up on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Keep it up, Dominique. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I am. I really, truly am. Melts my heart. So thank you again. Thank you all for watching, for tuning into today's segment. Please do us a favor and share it out if this was something that resonated with you, or if you learned something or were inspired by Dominique's story. Please share it out, elevate it as much as you can. Comment below, even if you're listening to this later on. And don't forget to visit our website at www.iraceinc.org. We have incredible new programs rolling out for your kids, including our executive coaching program that will be starting on May 6th, where kids will be connected to a coach if they are interested in starting a business, elevating their entrepreneur skills, and potentially getting some seed funding for their company. We also have a host of activities that will be rolling out online, in addition to parent and family programs. So visit our website, see what's out there. We also, in addition, have new episodes rolling out for our ATL Elevate podcast. Every Friday, there are new episodes rolling out. So please subscribe on your preferred podcast platform. It's also available on YouTube. Thank you all so much. We truly do love you. We appreciate you for following us. Thank you, Dominique. I appreciate you. We will be back next week. Stay tuned, everybody. Thank you.